So hi everyone, welcome back to Roger's Reptiles, and here I am with Steve. A lot of you guys must see, well, you guys don't see Steve that much, but you have seen him before on the channel. But today, you might have seen by the title, Steve is struggling with his shed at the minute, and in fact, I have actually got a little piece of his shed. Now this was done today, and I opened the cage and there was little pieces of this everywhere in his tank. And now if you've clicked on this video, some of you will be wanting to know, well, some of you might have a snake which is going through the same problem as this. So in this video, me and Steve will show you how to fix this and how to help them. Now, on his shed, most of the time you'll see all the shed gone from underneath, from the belly. But here, he has actually got the ridge where the whole top of his, on like his spine and stuff, he's all got stuck shed. Now he is trying to rub his shed on me. So if you're holding your snake at the minute, and he's going through the same problem as this, he'll be trying, I suspect he's trying to rub his shed onto you. Now the reason he's doing that is because in the wild or in his enclosure, he will be trying to rub his skin, rub his shed off his body, just so it pulls his skin off. Now, something that did happen to Steve, unfortunately, and I'm very disappointed in myself for letting this happen, but he has actually cut himself. Now, what he's done to get this, and you guys might have a snake that's done that, he's actually rubbed his, that's his cloaca, where his private parts are. So he has tried to rub this stuck shed off of that. So he's found a rough surface like the water dish. He's rubbed it on that, the scales have got caught and ripped his scales off. Well, he hasn't ripped his scales off, but it's made him bleed. And that is very, very, bad, because then bacteria can get in to the cloaca and it could get infected. Now, the reasons behind having a snake that has stuck shed, there is more than one reason. Now, one reason I have looked up, but I'm not sure of this myself, and that is if the snake is too skinny and has lost weight. If it's lost weight, that means that it's not got enough weight. If they have lost weight and are trying to shed, I've heard that can be a reason. But in Steve's case, it's because his humidity is low. Now, the humidity in a snake's tank, a lot of people think, oh, they live in the desert, blah, blah, blah. Actually, they do live in quite a humid area. It's not too humid. It's not as humid as like the rainforest or anything, but it is quite humid. And one thing that you should provide a snake with is a humid place to get the shed damp, and then have like a stone or a rock or something in the enclosure. Now, a thing with a lot of people say, oh, use the water dishes, but a lot of the water dishes are actually made of resin, and resin, it can be slippery, so it's hard to get their skin off. Now, you will, if a snake is trying to go through shed, you will see them sitting in their water bowl and bathing. And the reason they do that is because it softens the shed and makes it easier for them to get off. Now, I'm just going to explain to you what you should do. Now, if you're having a problem with this, keeping it damp, you need to have at least a paper towel or substrate in there. Now, what you want is you don't want big chunks of substrate, because that doesn't hold water. you want a low amount. Like, in fact, I've got a perfect substrate made for snakes. And, well, no, that's a lizard on the end, but you can use it for snakes. Now, if you look in here, it's loads of little bits of bark. And it's the substrate that they might have in the wild. Now, that can hold water. Whereas something like in the gecko's enclosure, is big chunks like this. Now, that's not going to hold much moisture. It will, but it's going to not hold it enough for a snake. Now, with the geckos and stuff, this is fine for, like, crested geckos because their humidity only lasts through the morning. Where a snake's humidity, it needs to be a bit longer. So, you want to get a small amount, well, not a small amount, but you want small pieces of substrate. You could even use, well, a lot of people call it reptibark. That can hold moisture because it's thin and it loads of little pieces of reptibark. Now that holds moisture. You want it to be humid in the enclosure, so that's good for the anyway, I'm blabbering on. In the, like, forest and stuff, you'll see a lot of wood chips and things on the floor because it's a woodlands. Now, these guys can be found in Africa on the edge of the, rainforest in Africa. And there is a lot of wood chips, and a lot of people call it mulch and stuff like that. Well, it's not mulch. Anyway, in the enclosure, there will be vents. Alright, and that's to let air flow in. If you've got too many vents, like in Steve's enclosure, he has got 4 vents, and they're all about that tall and that wide. So what I have done is I have covered the top ones. Now, the reason you need to cover the top ones is because the humidity will rise up, and if it's got nowhere to go, it'll go back down again, making the humidity. Now, you still want some airflow in there. So I did leave a gap for airflow to go through at the top. All I did was tape it and then tape the other side of the other one. But I left a gap in the middle just so airflow can come through the top. Now, that's important. And then your humidity will be good. The bottom ones I left because it'll be fine, but now I'm going to show you how to help the snake and fix his or her shed. So now I'm in the conservatory with the tortoises, chowing down on some lettuce. These guys are going to be moved out of here very soon. But here I have got a bucket of water. Now, this water, it is just I'd say 1 degree hotter than about 2 degrees hotter than room temperature. Now, this is a perfect temperature for your snake because this water, it's at the point where it's a good temperature in the middle, not too hot, not too cold, but it's perfect for your snake. Now, what you want to do is you want to grab your snake. I'll just be a sec. And then you want to put them inside of the water. Now, he will bathe, swim about in there, as you can see. And you want to leave him in here for about 15 minutes. So leave him in there 15 minutes. Keep on checking on them every minute. So every minute come in and check on them. And then, as you can see, he's trying to get out, but you do need to just let them because they do know how to keep their head out of the water. They can breathe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and check on him every minute, and we're going to leave him here for about 10-15 minutes, and then his body should be nice and soft. Now, don't think I'm being cruel doing this because it is necessary, because otherwise he's going to be stuck with that shed, and when it comes to feeding him, he'll not want to eat because he's too busy trying to get his shed off. And then he'll probably starve himself, which is very bad. So what would you rather do? Would you rather starve your snake and not let him eat? Or would you like to get this shed off, put him through a bit of stress trying to get out, but then get that shed off and let him eat, and he can be a nice, healthy snake? So you've got to put that into mind. Now he's getting stronger, which is good, and that's one benefit with soaking your snake. They get a lot of strength from it. Now, as you can see, when I first put him in here, he was struggling to get out, but now he's able to get out. So I'm going to burp the lid and leave the lid on him, just so he gets some air. Now, if you are wanting to do this, I'd say actually get a lid with holes on it, just so that the snake definitely won't get out and, you know, can still breathe. Now, I'll just see you guys there while I get him in. Come on, buddy. Trying to help you. And put the lid on. Whoa. Come on, mate. And I have burped the tub. As you can see, it's not fully on. He shouldn't get out of there, but if he does, there's no chance of him escaping this room or getting outside. Now, we will have to leave him in there. It will be a bit stressful for him, but trust me, you want to keep checking on them, just so that they, you know, that if they get too stressed or they stop moving, you want to take them out straight away. Now, he's going to be doing this just for a bit. He will calm down once he realises that he gets used to it, because he will get used to the temperature, and then he'll be able to relax. So we'll come back. I'll bring you guys back in 15 minutes, but don't worry, I will be checking on him. So everyone, it's been about 15 minutes. Well, it's been about 10, but it'll work anyway. But as you can see, Steve's put himself on a little ledge he's found. So I'm going to have to carefully remove that. Put it about right there. Now, it is very, very humid. Actually, you know, I won't, because then the camera will steam up. But he's damp, he's wet, he's extremely soft. So what we can do now is we can dry him off and then start getting the skin off. So, all of Steve's shed is off. As you can see, he's a beautiful, nice, pale colour. He's kind of like our skin. Our skin tans as it goes on. But then, once the skin peels off, seeing as though that humans pretty much shed ourselves. But when our skin peels off into like dust and stuff, we go paler as it comes into the winter. But yeah, that's Steve. Beautiful colours. amazing. He looks like a pastel ball python at the minute. But when he's darker, he looks like a normal. But this is Steve's cage. It's a 4-foot vivarium, and I have taped the top ones just to let the things, as I've said. But remember, you must always make sure that your snake's water bowl has fresh water in it every day so they can bathe in it. And yeah. So yeah, make sure that your snake stays humid. You can use a little spray bottle. Don't overdo it though. Look, I'll just do it like that. 1, 2. That's him done. 2 sprays. 2 of them. Let's just say. So 2 sprays with a with a spray bottle in the enclosure about once every 3 days, and then the humidity will be just fine. You don't want to overdo it like with the geckos and stuff. Cheeky bugger. Where are you going? There you go. You're beautiful now. You don't want to overdo it. Like it's fine to do it a lot with geckos, but you need to keep it just a bit lower for snakes, but they still need that humidity. So I'd say keep your snake at about 40% humidity. I mean, the leopard geckos, they are about 20% humidity. So I'd say these guys are about 40, I'd even say 40-50% humidity. I'll have to look it up, but I stay on track. So that's why I'm not sure what percentage of humidity I try to keep it at, but I've obviously not been doing it right because he's not doing it properly. And I know I have been skipping days. I've got school, you know. Yeah, I got school, so I'm pretty busy with school. So that's one of the reasons why. And when I get back from school, I'm totally wiped. I'm so knackered that I can't do anything else. And I usually, I'd say, do it in the middle of the day, spray it down. Remember, once every 3 days. And me and Steve hope that you learnt something today and you can keep your snake happy and healthy and stress-free. So that's all from me, and I'll see you next time on Roger's Reptiles.